Hello.
Hi, Miss.
Hello, Marieta. Welcome back. So as you can listen to me, we are now going to start the second part of the lesson. And I don't know if you remember, but in today's agenda, this part of the lesson was about juncture. But first, we are going to play a game. And for this game, you need to listen to some recordings, some recordings of some songs. And first, you are going to listen to the first second of this. To 1 second of the song. It can be the beginning, the middle part, or whatever part. Then you're going to listen to 3 seconds if you could not recognize the song from the first second. And then lastly, you're going to listen to 5 seconds of the song. And in order to say your answers, you need to raise your hand on Teams. To tell me which song was playing, which was the name of the song. So once again, you're going to listen to 3 different extras from song. It's going to be first the first second, then 3 seconds of the song, and then 5 seconds of the song. So please tell me if you can listen to this recording. Could you be able to listen to that? Oh, Diego?
It's Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, that's right. So I guess you didn't need it the 3 seconds.
I love this song.
You like it? You love it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good song. Right. Yeah, those were the 5 seconds. So well done. You were quite fast. Sorry. Now this is the second song. And this is the first second.
Never Gonna Give You Up from Rick Astley.
That's correct, sir. But where was your hand?
Oh, sorry.
Remember to raise your hand. So yeah, I don't know if you remember, but like 4 years ago, this song was all over the internet because of memes. I remember I clicked so many links that direct me to this song. I don't know about you, but I did. I did visit this song quite often. Can you listen to this, by the way? I don't know what's happening. Could you be able to listen to that cluster of sounds? No?
No, I think.
I don't know what's happening. Could you be able to listen to that? Yes or no?
Nope.
No? Oh, it was chaotic. I received a message that I was having problems with the audio, so give me a second. I don't know what is happening today with PowerPoint and Teams, because I went during the break. I went to the previous slide to delete the word following, and when I tried to do it, it deleted both words that said following, because apparently it was just one word that was being duplicated, and I don't know why. So I think I am going to do the same thing I previously did, because it's easier. So this is song number 3. Remember to raise your hand. That was the first second. Diego?
I think it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Okay, Marieta, what about you? You also raise your hand. Do you know, by any chance, do you know the name of the singer? Any of you?
It's
I remember.
a hard name, I think.
That is what I was going to say. When I remember when I looked it up, it was like Israel, and then like a very long name, like como.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it was indeed Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's a very known song. So this is the first song. Remember to raise your hand. That was the first second. Now 3 seconds. And now, Diego?
I think I know the name of the song, but I don't know the artist.
It's okay.
Is In the Jungle?
It's not in the jungle. That's not the
No?
name of the song. No.
Oh,
Marieta, do you know the name of the song?
Is Hakuna Matata?
It's not Hakuna Matata.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Let's listen to the 5 seconds of the song. So we have Diego.
The song is The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
That's correct. And between parentheses, I think the name is called Awimmawe or something like that. And it's by the Tokens. Oh,
Yes.
Tokens. Yeah. It's The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and I find it a quite funny song. I don't know about you. We are going to listen to a little bit of it. I don't know about you, but the song makes me happy for no reason. It has great
Have to
melodies.
listen.
You cannot listen.
No.
Really? Oh my goodness. I insist. Teams today is not cooperating. I was saying this song really makes me happy because it's I don't know, but it's like a happy song. At least for me. Could you be able to listen to that?
Yes.
yes.
Right. And now, yes, go ahead.
I was singing.
You were you were singing along. That's nice. And now this is the final song. So listen to, and raise your hand if you know the answer. Listen to it and that was the first second. 3 seconds. Oh. Gaspar?
Happy, the Pharrell Williams.
Happy of Pharrell Williams. That's correct. And do you remember which feature this song was made for? This is a soundtrack of a movie. Do you know the name? That's correct. How do you pronounce that? Dispersible? I cannot see the chat. Despicable Me. That's correct. And I think I have only watched the movie in Spanish. I usually watch sometimes I watch movies in English and in Spanish, but I think that one I've only watched it in Spanish. So for me, it's mi villano favorito. Oh, you can see that. Wait. By the way, did you like the songs?
Yes, they're so good.
They're good songs, right? I wanted to include one that it's called Who Let the Dogs Out, because it was a song that I remember it was on the it was played on like ads when I was little, but I don't know if you knew the song. It was like Who Let the Dogs Out, woof, 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 and those woof for me were so funny. But yeah, I didn't know if you were if you were not used to but familiar with the song. So yeah, there I can have my. Now, as I already mentioned, we are going to talk about juncture, and there I have an example that says, "I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream." This is another song lyric, and probably I should have included in the previous exercise, but I didn't know the song before, so I didn't know if you knew this was a song. But that's a sentence. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Can you can you be able to identify something, especially in the words that are underlined? Ice cream, ice cream. What can you tell me about that? Those utterances. Nothing? Nothing comes to your mind? Thank you. Well, I am going to pronounce them again. Ice cream. Ice cream and ice cream. What can you tell me about those two sentences?
They are very, very similar.
That's
Almost
correct.
same sound. Ice cream, ice cream.
You are absolutely correct, correct, Bastian. Indeed, those words have the same phonemes, therefore are pronounced the same. And even though the phonemes are pronounced the same, there are some variations, I will say, that will help us to differentiate when we are talking about the deed or the action and when we are talking about the dessert. Because as you mentioned, they are the same. They sound so similar, and it's because they are the same phonemes. And that it's a junction, it's one of the features that is going to help us to differentiate this. And it says that according to Peter Roach, juncture is the relationship between one sound and the sound that immediately precede and follow it. So juncture, we are going to have two sounds, and juncture, it's going to be the relationship that happens between these two sounds. And it says it characterizes the passage from one sound to the next sound of the stream of speech. It interposes a temporary stoppage in the flow of speech, and it suggests the need of a stop or pause in order to obtain clarity to the speech. In other words, we can say that juncture is a phenomenon that happens between or that allows the listener and the speaking of a given language, in this case, for instance, is English, to produce differences between the words or phrases that they are saying when they are pronouncing a series or a sequence of phonemes. So remember that, and remember this part that says it suggests the need of a stop, or pause, and it's a passage from one sound to the next. It's like the transition between the sounds. And by the way, if you have any questions, you can ask me your questions at any moment. Now, in order for you to understand this better, we have two types
Miss?
of juncture. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt you, but can you back to the other slide, please?
If you send me the email, by the way, you don't need to write everything in a hurry, because I can send you the presentation after the class.
Okay, Miss, you can now.
Thank you. As I already mentioned, we can find two types of juncture. The first one is going to be closed juncture, and it says, I am going to ask you to read this. Sebastián Camaño, can you help me with this one?
Yes.
Number 1, please.
Closed conjuncture. It exists between syllables in a word. It is the normal transition from one phoneme to the following one within an utterance. Examples: juncture, juncture. The second one too.
No, wait a second. As you said, the transition from one phoneme to the following one within an utterance, and it says a normal transition, right? Normal transition. And why is it called this way? It is because when we pronounce the words, usually it sounds like if there is not a pause. I mean, when we pronounce the words, it doesn't sound like a pause, like the pause we do between words, because it's the natural way we speak. But indeed, there is a small pause between two syllables. For example, in the word juncture, we don't say juncture, we say juncture. There is a pause after the juncture. And in this case, that's basically what a closed juncture is. It's a small pause after, for instance, in this case, the k juncture. And it's a pause that we do naturally when we speak. And it is a normal transition between these syllables. So that's the first one. And I will highly recommend you to take notes on the types of juncture, because we're going to do an activity at the end of the lesson, and you're going to need to know what each type refers to in order to complete the assignment. So that was the first type of juncture, closed juncture, and the second one, it's open juncture. Can you now, Sebastian, read the number 2, please?
Okay. Choose open juncture. It's a manner of transition from one phoneme to the next in two utterance. It exists between words in a phrase and sentence. Example: my train, might rain.
All right. Thank you very much. So in this case, we have two different utterances, and in this case, juncture, it's going to happen between the sentences. As you can see in the example, we have my train, and might rain. If you look at the phonetic transcription, the phonemes that are being used are the same. But here, juncture is what it is going to make the difference between the two. So because in the first example, we have the juncture after my. So we have my train. And in this case, we have might. The juncture is after the T. So it's might rain. So that's an example of open juncture. It's a transition between two utterances. In this case, two words. I don't know if you can think about an example of closed juncture on the go. Can you? Or open juncture? Because I was thinking yesterday, for instance, and I remember I was thinking about Christmas, and I realized that when you say Mary, you say like Mary, Mary. You don't say Mary. It's more like Mary, Mary. With a small pause, it's not that noticeable, but it is an example of closed juncture. Mary. And also in the word Christmas, we don't say Christmas, we say Christmas. Like we do the small pause, and it's a natural pause. An example of open juncture can also be, for instance, a name, like any name. For instance, my name is Javiera. It's a name. And also you have like an objective. You can say an aim. So it's a name. And oops. An aim. The phonemes are the same. What it changes is the way where, it's the place in which juncture happens. So, a name or an aim. And now we are going to move to the symbols we use to identify or indicate when juncture happens. And the first symbol is a single bar juncture. And it indicates the need for a slight pause between two groups in a sentence. And as you can see there, we have two sentences in which the pauses are placed in different positions. And a change in the place in which juncture happens can indicate a change in the meaning of the sentence. And for instance, in this case, we have in number 1, my teacher said the doctor is pregnant. Okay? And the second sentence says, my teacher said the doctor is pregnant. So in the case of the first one, we have that. First I want to ask you, what do you understand in the first one and in the second one? Do you see any change in meaning between these two? Diego Troncoso?
I found a little sense in the first one, but I think the second one is a little bit messy, I think.
You think it's messy? And what about the meaning? What do you understand in sentence number 1?
That the teacher said that the doctor is pregnant.
Okay, and what do you understand in sentence number 2?
I think it could be that my teacher said to the doctor that is pregnant.
And therefore the teacher now it's pregnant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's also what I understand from this, because if it was something that was written, probably it would have had more punctuation. But in this case, for instance, if I only say to you, like, my teacher said the doctor is pregnant, in that case, I also understand that the doctor is the person who is pregnant. But if I say my teacher said the doctor is pregnant, I understand that the doctor is saying that the teacher is pregnant. So a change in juncture can, a change in juncture can change the meaning of the sentence completely. So that's why it's important to know, for you to know where to make the pauses in your sentences. Otherwise, you may say something completely different to what you wanted to say in the first place. And then we have a note at the end, and it says if the sentence consists of only one thought group, juncture is no longer needed. For example, I am interested in arts. That sentence, it's only one complete idea. If I make a pause like, I am interested in arts, I am interested in arts, I don't really need to make the pause because there's not going to be a change in meaning when I'm saying that sentence. So that was the first example. That was one of the first. That was the first symbol out of the three that we have. Now we have the double bar juncture. And it says, indicates the need for a longer pause between two thought groups in a sentence. And here we have different different categories. And we have the first one, that are appositives. And it says, they add further information that it identifies or describes the subject. And as an example, we have Professor Bruno, the English teacher, lived in the US for a long period of time. So we are adding information that it will help us to identify our subject. In this case, lived in the US for a long period of time gives us more information, and the English teacher is what it's giving us the main key to identify him. Because if we say Professor Bruno lived in the US for a long period of time, it's giving information about Professor Bruno. But when we say the English teacher, we are talking about, we know that we are talking about him specifically, and we are highlighting the quality that he is an English teacher. So it's describing the subject. And then we have before and after a non-restrictive clause. And as an example, we have Chris Martin, who sings in Coldplay, has 2 kids. In this sentence, who sings in Coldplay is a non-restrictive clause. And I don't know if you have seen this in grammar or not yet, but you will. And you're going to understand this better once you do. But basically, remember that we have different sentences which are giving us, in the first case, information. In the second one, it's a clause, but it's also giving us information because clauses give us information. So here in these examples, I think the commas help us to identify where the juncture happens. But in the first one, it's here. So we have one here, one here. And in the second one, we have one here and one here, because it's before and after the non-restrictive clause. Omar, can you speak, Omar?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. Can you pronounce the 2 sentences? This one, I mean, not that one, this one and this one. using juncture?
Okay. Professor Bruno, the English teacher, lived in the US for a long period of time. Chris Martin, who sings in Coldplay, has 2 kids.
That's correct. Thank you very much. Now we have that we also use a double bar juncture before and after parenthetical expressions. For example, some food, sugar for example, are not good for your health. In this case, the parenthetical expression is sugar, for example. So we should use a juncture before this expression and after. Whoops. And after. And then finally, we have the last example of double when to use double bar juncture, that it's after verbal phrases. And it says, looking through the window, I saw the kids playing in the park. In this case, I saw the kids playing in the park. It will be the verbal phrase. So, Pia? Are you there, Pia? Can you speak? Nicolás Durán? Nicolás? No. Marieta? Kelly?
Yes, miss.
Can you pronounce the two sentences using juncture, please?
Okay. Some food, sugar for example, are not good for our health.
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 Health. You
Health.
need to put, that's correct. You need to put your tongue between your lips. So it's like at the end. Thank you very much. And now the second one, please.
Looking through the window, I saw the kids playing in the park.
Thank you very much. So that was the case of those were these examples for the last two cases of double bar juncture. And now we're going to move on to the third symbol, which is double cross juncture. And as you can say there, we have what people usually call nowadays the hashtag, a hashtag. And it says, double cross juncture, it characterizes a drop in pitch. The pausing time corresponds to a need for a semicolon, colon, or period. So that's a semicolon, that's a colon, and this is a period. And when does this occur? It occurs in the pauses between two or more clauses. Now here we have an example in the quote of the English poet Alexander Pope, and it says, to hear is human, to forgive is divine. In this case, where would you place the double cross juncture? Any of you? Yes?
Forgive is divine.
In your case, is divine? Okay. Like at the end? Here?
No, but after human, one and divine other, like in
Okay.
the, yes.
Yeah, you're correct. Here because we have a semicolon. I think that if we have something else after divine, we would have had a double cross juncture at the end, right? But in this case, I will say, well, we also have like a drop pitch in divine. So probably yes, there's another double cross juncture. I don't know what you think. Now we are going to move on to the practice, and it says that you have to create 2 examples for each of the following points. And you have to create 2 examples for open juncture, 2 for single bar juncture, 2 for double bar juncture, and 2 for double cross juncture. And for this you have the end of the hour, basically 15 minutes, which will be just in time before we finish the lesson. So if you have any questions, just ask them now. If not, off you go. I can go back to one slide if you want me to.
Yes, to the single bar juncture.
Single bar juncture. This one. I am going to go back to this one. 1 more minute. Now we're going to check. Bastian, were you able to finish?
I think
Yes.
maybe.
Can you give me an example of open juncture? I mean, or the 2 examples.
It swings. It swings.
Okay.
And it wings.
It swings and it wings. Like the swings?
Yes.
And okay.
And it wings.
It wings, like the ones from the bird?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And single bird juncture?
I wasn't so sure on this, but I think maybe the kid was running, but he fell.
The kid was running, but he fell. Okay, those are 2 different sentences. I mean, 2 different utterances, 2 different thoughts. Okay. And double bar juncture?
Gordon Ramsay, a famous chef, lives in the UK.
Perfect. So you are giving more information about this to identify this person. So Gordon Ramsay, who is a chef, lives in the UK. Great. And double cross juncture? Do you have an example of that one?
As Einstein said once, the human stupid is limitless.
Humans. Can you repeat that again, please? Human.
The human stupidness. I don't know how to say stupidness.
Stupidity? No.
Yes,
How
the
do
human stupidity is limitless.
you can write a word in the chat, maybe, and I can read it because I don't know. The human stupidity is limitless. Like with you are using there a semicolon.
Or maybe the colon, because it's something that he said.
Yeah, but it's separated too. Yeah, because it's supposed to be double cross juncture is supposed to be used with semicolons, columns, and periods. But I think in that case we can use, even though it's just using a column, I think we can also use a semicolon. So yeah. Thank you very much. Do we have a volunteer that wants to read one of his or her examples? No? We don't have a volunteer? It's okay. Because it's already time to finish. So we are going to move to the recap. And here in the recap, maybe we can have another example. So today we worked with a J coalescence. And as you could remember, it was when we had 2 different phonemes, and these 2 phonemes joined together and they turned into a different phoneme that was in a middle point between these 2 previous phonemes. Like in the example of t and d, when are followed by a ja, they become the palatal alveolar phonemes ch and j, because that's like a middle point between those two phonemes. So can you provide me an example of that before we leave? An example of yod coalescence. For example, I can give you one. Would you attend next class? Would you attend the next class? Can you provide me an example of your own? It's not that difficult.
Maybe can I get you something?
Get you something? Yes, that's correct. Get you. Can I get you something? Thank you very much, Diego. And now for juncture, as we saw, it's a temporary stop or pause in the flow of speech in order to make ourselves understood or to give clarity to our speech or to what we're saying. And can you give me an example? Any example of those you you created in the previous activity? Gaspar, Sebastián, or Diego? Any example from the previous ones? From the previous exercise?
I have an example of double bar juncture, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
Daniela, who is the fastest student in the class, won a medal yesterday.
So Daniela, who is
The fastest student in the class,
okay,
won a medal yesterday.
Do you mean that, for instance, she runs?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I understand now. So it's not any Daniela, it's the one who runs very fast. So yeah, that's correct. You're giving more information about Daniela, right? So that was all for today's lesson. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
No. If there's no questions, Mr. Bruno, I think it's time to end the session. Mr. Bruno? Hello. Mr. Bruno?
Mr. Bruno, are you there?
I am going to write him. Sometimes he has problems with his internet connection, so maybe he got disconnected. Well, anyways, it's time for you to leave. So you may leave the session now. So goodbye. I don't think I will see you in next class, but your next class is on Tuesday. No, Thursday.
Thursday.
So today is Tuesday. So goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Javiera. Have a nice day, you too.
Bye-bye, Miss.
See you.
Bye. Goodbye.
See you.
Thank you, Miss. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, teacher.
Bye-bye.